Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another review. And now I'm taking a look at Super Turrican for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Mostly harmless, bit of a reference to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy there. So Super Turrican was developed by Factor 5, who also developed the Amiga Turrican games, and as ever the music's by the wonderful Chris Hülsbeck, and I believe they're much the same team as in that room, because I recognise some names like Julian Egbrecht and Frank Metzger and Helmut Schmidt. A little bit of Mode 7 there. Catechist. Now, there's actually I actually recently found out there was actually a game called Catechist for the Amiga, and it'll be interesting to know if that Catechist is a reference to that. Definitely Mode 7 used on that Turrican logo just then, so let's have a look at options. So you've got game levels this time. You've got easy, normal and hard, rapid fire on, and it shows you the you've got a choice of different and you've got different. So you can choose different controls and methods there. I think I'm happy with that. So let's get this going. So you've got separate buttons for power line and so forth in this version, because the Super Nintendo isn't really restricted to just one button and sticks. You can still do that just like you could in Turrican 2 on the Amiga. That's a nice touch. Oh, that's different. Enemies where you can't use the power line, because otherwise they'll just freeze like that. Oh, nice. Oh, should have watched the wind there, shouldn't I? Been a while since I last played this. So you've got to wait for the wind to stop blowing before you cross these, otherwise you'll just fall. Oh! Oh! And falls off anyway. So you got the same sort of weapons like you had in Turrican 2 on the Amiga. Shield. So it's all there. One way to skin a cat. Can I get up there? But if I can't get up there, it's going to be a bit of a tight jump. Yes. Oh, poo. Could have done without that. Oh, this is nice. It's not simply a retread of the Amiga version either, which is good. It actually makes proper use of the Super Nintendo's capabilities. Oh. And even the way the weapons look is very different, in a good way, of course. And you get plenty of arrows telling you where to go, so it's not as vague as it was in the Amiga version. So that's also good. I mean, people might complain, saying, "Oh, you're being babied through it," but it is good to know where you need to go if you're not used to it, because otherwise, ooh, the famous fist boss. And they put like Mode 7 effects to it. The scaling and rotation, again, like I said, making use of the Super Nintendo's capabilities. Oh, damn it! That took off a lot of damage. Oh, crikey, that was close. Come on. Nice use of Mode 7 in that. I'm really impressed with that. Nice speech as well. Do I want to get bounce? Not particularly. Oh, didn't need to do that. Yeah, as you see, the power line doesn't actually act as a weapon as such. It just freezes enemies, and then it just freezes them to the spot. Oh, I've lost all my lives. And it's got continues. But it does actually continue from the beginning of the stage that you got to. It doesn't continue exactly from where you left off. See, I can't use the power line on bosses. It just won't do anything. I guess that's one thing they changed, because in the Amiga version it was rather too easy to defeat a lot of the bosses just by pummeling them with the power line. Yeah, I think it's safe to say I found a sweet spot here. Yeah. How he's not actually hitting me. I'm sure that that's the knuckle of the little finger supposed to be hitting me, but not that I'm complaining, because it is a bit of a shame that happens, but hey ho. It's also a bit of a shame that my laser got powered down. It's powered down because of having lost all my lives. Having to continue in order to continue. Oh. Sorry, I kept calling the surround power line. I do apologise for that. I'll get that and then get these. That way I don't have to end up with bounces. I don't particularly want bounce at this point. Oh. Yeah, the visuals in this are really nice as well, but then you expect that from Factor 5. They've done a good job as usual. And as ever, it's a joy to hear Chris Hughes' music. The Super Nintendo does have a pretty good sound chip at this one, and hearing delightful music from him on such a chip, such a sound chip is really good. Oh. Yeah, this is good. I'm really liking this. Everything that made Turrican great is still here. And I actually don't mind the fact that they replaced the surround weapon with that with that freeze ray instead. As I said, I think they did that because it made the bosses a bit too easy to kill when it was an actual proper weapon. Oh, now I get a power up and I've just died. Oh, extra life in there. As far as I can make out, there's no limit to the number of times you can do the whirligig thing in this particular game. In the first Turrican on other formats, which I've already reviewed, be it 8 or 16-bit, you could only use that 3 times. But I better get. I could do with the power up. Oh, God. Maybe I picked up that extra life from that time. Damn, I can't get there now. Yeah, sometimes those things that dispense power-ups also count as platforms, so you're torn between using them to try and get the power-ups or to keep them there so you can actually reach other bits that you would otherwise be denied. Like here. Yeah, I'm really loving this. I just cannot get enough of Chris Hughes' music. I really am sorry that I keep banging on about it, but his music is just so good. Oh God, listen to that music, it's just amazing. Can I get through this without getting hit? Yes. Yeah, so that seems to be the best way to deal with these things. Just freeze them with the surround weapon, the new version of the surround weapon, and then take them out with regular weapon, whichever one you've got. That's it. Ooh. I do like the way that happens. Oh. What is it facing to the left? I'm definitely going to take that, I think. Oh, I thought I was going to just get away with that. Oh gosh, these things are. You may remember when I looked at the Amiga version, I mentioned that I did have a problem with the way some platforms were laid out, and there are still some problems with that here. So I will have to factor that into my final verdicts, because that is a bit of an irritation. So I've got another boss coming. Oh, shit. Oh, taking too much damage on my last life, damn it. Well, whatever that boss was, I didn't get to see it. I'm not going to continue, I'm going to wind up the review here. So that's Super Turrican for the Super Nintendo, which came out in 1993, and it's a good enough addition to the Turrican franchise to stand up on its own right. Makes great use of the Super Nintendo's capabilities at times, and the core gameplay doesn't disappoint. It's made a bit easier by the fact that it's not constrained to one or even a 2-button joystick the way the Amiga version, for example, was, and especially with the 8-bit versions, which could only have one such button. So graphics really nice and colourful, plenty of detail, animation's really good, and I'm very impressed with what I saw. Sound and music are really good. The sound effects are top quality, nice clear samples, and they evoke that classic Turrican feel that anyone who's familiar with the Amiga version will come to know and love, and possibly even the Commodore 64 version, which I've been informed was the first version of Turrican of it in any way, shape or form, from what I can make out. And as I've mentioned several times during this review, Chris Husbeck's music is just sumptuous as ever. Some of the tunes in this I recognise from other Turrican games I've played, and others I think I hadn't heard elsewhere, as far as I know. But what's there is good and makes good use of the sound capabilities, so can't complain about that either. And the gameplay, as I said, works really well, especially now we've got all those buttons at our disposal on the Super Nintendo controller, and everything's really easy to find. I don't mind the fact that they changed the surround weapon into more of a freeze ray rather than an actual weapon that has destructive capabilities. Although even with that, you probably noticed I was able to find a sweet spot with the fist and defeat him fairly easily. So that is a bit of a shame. And as I pointed out, there are a couple of iffily positioned platforms which are a bit of a nuisance. And I remember that being a problem in some of the other versions of the first Turrican that I've reviewed previously. So I think I'm going to give Super Turrican on the Super Nintendo 8 out of 10. It's not the greatest shmup on the system, but you could do a lot worse, and it's got the class. It does genuinely feel like a Turrican game, despite the slight tweaks to compared to the versions of Turrican and to a certain extent Turrican 2 released beforehand. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that review. Catch you on another one soon. Texie88 out.